exercise continuum for people with headaches as a chronic injury. There's certain potential overactive and underactive muscles that can go along with this, so it's going to be an individual basis. And my client Nicole here doesn't have headaches, so it's not an assessment that we can perform and try to cure, but she's just going to be an example for stretches and exercise that we would do with somebody that shows forward head poke, which is a sign of headaches. So first of all, we're going to start off with the first step of the corrective exercise continuum, and that is to release. So we're going to do some SMR here. We're going to do foam roll of the thoracic spine. So you have your client go on their back with the foam roll that they're accustomed to by now. Cross their hands over their chest and then find the sore spot. One thing that could be potentially dangerous is putting a lot of pressure on just one vertebrae and causing problems there. So it might be a good idea to have a bit of a wider circumference foam roll so it's covering more space. Moving on, we're going to go to lengthening, and here's an example of lengthening exercise. So we're going to do the sternocleidomastoid, and with that, you have your client put arm behind their head, and whatever arm they have, they look to that way. Sorry, the opposite way, and
this way?
yeah, or sorry, you look up the direction you have your head, and then pull the back, and just a very gentle light application. You don't want them cranking on their neck. One thing that I forgot to mention, we'll go back to SMR for a second for anything in the cervical area. It's going to be self-application, so as a exercise professional, I'm not going to be applying any of this. You can relax there. But if Nicole was doing the sternocleidomastoid for SMR, we would locate that muscle. It might even be good to have an app or a book out so that they can have a visual. But you help them locate it, and then once they find it, they themselves take 2 fingers and apply the pressure for 30 seconds like they're used to. And also another tool that can be used for neck muscles is, if you don't have the fancy ones, is a golf ball. So again, you could just take that and then apply to the area. So moving on to the third step of the corrective exercise continuum, we are going to isolate and strengthen a particular muscle here. So the exercise that we're doing is for the cervical flexors, and this is a really hard exercise to get across to clients. I know I had a hard time learning it, so this one is we go against the wall with the ball. And something that's really difficult is it's not a really dynamic movement. It's not something that clients are used to, so it's just a very subtle movement, and you get them to just gently bring, it's a little hard with all the hair here, just gently bring their head forward ever so slightly and back, and it's another, it's one that takes a little while for the neural adaptation to occur, and it can take some time. And clients might question if it's doing anything, but it just takes some time to work with them. And finally, we're moving on to the fourth step, and that's to integrate muscles here. So we are going to do a 4-step exercise. You would usually do this with very light weight, and we just don't happen to have weight that's light enough for Nicole for this exercise. So we have them start with their, you either find a wall, or if you don't have that, she could put her feet against mine. So you get her to make sure you on a nice and neutral spine, and then I get you to go ahead and start the exercise here. So actually start down here, and then up into the Y, and then back further. Good job, and then back down. And in this exercise, you do, just like in the previous step I forgot to mention, you do 10 to 15 reps and 1 set. And that is some examples of exercises that you would incorporate into corrective exercise continuum for people who are suffering from headaches. Oh, also, I wore my Hobbit feet in honor of the Hobbit opening.